following podcast is recorded and produced by Emerge, a media creators co-op, in affiliation with the network at bicbp-radio.com.
Welcome to 71Kicks, everybody. We got the squad back. Alec, Brandon, Zach, we're here. We're doing it. We're live on YouTube. And we're talking World Cup. We're talking, that's, kind of the only really big thing to be talking about right now. Nothing that all happened over the weekend. If we are to recap, actually, some tournaments did take place. Crystal Palace won the Conference League.
They did.
Shout out to them. Huge, actually, for Crystal Palace. Take it back to the origins of the pod, like we have been for some of these topics. One of the top teams that's outside of the top six going on to international tournaments and winning it. That's huge for them. Club success is biggest it's ever been. So good for Crystal Palace. That's it.
Well, I don't think that's it. I think we're missing a big one here. I think it involves that team on your chest right there. The
Aston Villa won the Europa League.
Oh yeah. No, you're right.
Too,
yeah.
but I think we're missing the real big one that happened over the weekend. It was in Budapest. A hot day and afternoon in Budapest. For PSG, they went back to back in the Champions League. They won back-to-back titles. Won on PKs. There's a certain team in red they played. Alec, I think you know them pretty well.
Yeah. So we lost the Champions League final. That's how it goes. Sometimes you win some and you lose some, and we lost that one for sure. Yeah.
Let it all work out.
Let it all work out. Let it all. I've listened to it all day, every day since. Let it all work out.
Listen, it's all working out, man. It's all working out. You don't come in second place 3 years in a row to win the league in that fourth year, and you don't make it further and further in the Champions League to not win it eventually.
I will say, a lot of the teams that historically that have been making a run for Champions League and trying to win Champions League and really focusing on that, most of the time they lose their first one. Chelsea lost in Moscow in 2008. City lost to Chelsea in 2021. PSG lost in 2020 to Bayern.
But Bayern also did the same one of those years, right? Because it wasn't. But
Bayern lost to
Chelsea that one year, and then they played Dortmund the year after.
Won the year after. So it's not a as much as if you're sorry, it's really hot in here. I just need a second.
No, you're good. No, I get what you're saying because dude, it's
that's much better. Feels a lot better. But yeah, every team just kind of has to go to one, lose their first one.
Not planned at all.
And then you kind of once you kind of been there, had that experience, then you kind of can go back and you have that chance to win it the next time around. So.
Wait, can you guys give me 30 seconds? I have to go turn on my AC too.
Yeah, sure.
30 seconds. I'll be right
back.
Go
ahead. Yeah. No, but all funny things aside though, that is just a thing that has happened with groups, and you have the Real Madrids that just seem to win it every time they're there, and the Barças seem to win every time they're there. But in the general trend for these groups is that once you lose the first one, it seems like you have a good chance of going back to win another one. Granted, there's the other side of the spectrum with the Atleticos, that have done it, and even Liverpool. Liverpool went.
Sorry, I'm back. Sorry.
Hey. Oh, sorry. But you have the Liverpools that have lost to Real Madrid, and they went back to, I think it was the year after also, and won against Spurs, which, easiest matchup you're ever going to get in Champions League finals against Spurs. But yes, but all jokes aside though, I got to give Arsenal credit where credit's due. They executed their game plan to near perfection. They did exactly what they wanted to do. But just the idea of trying to keep PSG out for 90 minutes is just it's an uphill battle you're fighting the whole time. And yeah, they made a silly decision in the box, costed them PK, and then tied from there. Had their chance to go on and win it. PKs, and then it just went PSG's way once they got the PKs. But if you got to, as both fighters, like they made PSG look like a boring team. They really slowed PSG down. A lot of things they wanted to do and how PSG play, like they really took them out of their game. They made PSG play their game. But just at the end of the day, the better team on the night won. And what's really what it comes down to is that the better team won. And as much as, Arsenal played great, they played the perfect game plan as almost as perfectly as possible. You can't have 25% possession and only one shot on target and expect to win. And I understand they're creating
Not
a bunch of
against
chances.
PSG, you can do
not
that.
against PSG.
You can't do that against PSG.
Yeah. There's, if you did that against Chelsea, you're probably going to be okay. Because we'll pass the ball backwards and sideways and we won't even shoot the ball or we'll shoot it from 40 yards out only. Or Pedro Neto will cut back for the 50th time and overhit a cross or whatever the case may be. But, it's just against PSG. It's just not going to work.
Yeah.
Obviously, I don't think it's all, like we got to completely mix things up because, you're that close at the end of the day. Like you do better on PKs or you put out a better lineup for PKs and you're there. I want to say though, it was a weird lineup for, I think, both teams on PKs.
Yeah, they went deep into extra time,
Like-
and we had a pretty rotated, squad at that point. And it was interesting just to see the lineup, and with Gabrielle stepping up at number 5 for us to take that when you had Medweke still, and who else? Zubamendi could have taken one, but for Gabrielle, I think it just showed it was one of those leadership moments. I think he needed to do it because he had the most experience within the team, and for it to have been Medweke or either of those two names, knowing our fan base and just some of the people and how reactionary they can be. Zubamendi had a rough end to the season.
Not Arsenal fans.
Medweke, but yeah, right. But either of those two could have had some bad reactions, but Gabrielle missing the way he did and the way that the fans have been able to kind of eat it, I guess. Yeah, for it to.
Did you see the guy who got the Gabrielle's miss tattooed on the back of his leg?
No.
Jesus
Not
Christ.
even the PSG celebration or nothing. It was Gabrielle's PK miss.
Right. Yeah. Not even PSG. Dude, so I was at Mess K. There wasn't a single PSG fan in there for them to lift the trophy. Not they all had left. Not a single one was in there to watch.
That's because Buffalo's not used to watching winners.
Yeah, you could say so.
Yeah.
It was just again, this was a hate watch beyond comparison, just because nobody wanted to see Arsenal win it. It's again just the reactions of fans into they care more about watching us lose than their teams winning type of deal. You know how it is. Dude, Keys again I've never seen him more excited at watching a game because he's like, oh yes, they fucking bottled it. Look at these losers. Yeah, oh, it's so fantastic. And meanwhile, it's Liverpool barely made Champions League this season, barely. And so it's just the reaction. I will say, it's banter at the end. It's all fun games, but the way how people are taking it so seriously of oh yeah, they're such bottlers, man. They fucking It's guys.
All right, get the fuck out of here. Because what happens if Arsenal wins?
If we win the Champions League, oh man, that's what I'm saying. I know. Don't get me wrong.
Okay.
If we had won the Champions League, it would have been nobody would have heard the end of it. Nobody would have heard the end of it because the thing about it, it's there's the fans. It's the same deal. It's the same way because the way that fans want to be so serious about the attacking us. There's the beyond delusional fans who would have watched us win Champions League and then continued the streak of oh well, fucking Declan Rice is Ballon d'Or on his way, or Saka's the best winger in Europe, all this stuff.
What category do you fall under?
Mindful, logical, brain focused because like
Right.
we went 1-0 up, and I'm like, but to be fair, I'm watching the game and I'm like, we got this shit in the fucking bag. You know how many 1-0 wins we had this season? It's our anthem, 1-0 to the Arsenal. We could fucking do this right now. And the whole first half, I'm gonna say, like, the first half was just excellent. We were fucking playing great. And then extra time starts. Declan Rice takes 40 seconds to throw the ball in. And the ref sees that happen and he goes, this is just fucking bullshit, man. These guys are just playing this time wasting shit. And these guys, again, I think with the brain, everyone wanted to complain about us, getting the advantage from PGMOL all season, whatever you want to say about that. We had absolutely no advantage with this ref in this game. The ref was calling us on all of our shit. But I will say, like, the time wasting stuff he was on top of, but he was also calling some very just soft fucking calls that he was not calling in the first half. You can watch that game and say, we had a blatant fucking call for what could have been two penalties possibly, with Saka's clearance with the handball thing. Again, handball law is ridiculous, whatever you want to say about that. But there were two instances where if that ref was the same ref in the second half, he could have called those penalties like early in the game and then changed the game at that point. I will say, Mascara's tackle was beyond ridiculous in the box to like give that penalty away. But up until that point, Mascara was playing a fantastic game. Best game I have seen that dude play in our shirt. And again, the game plan was there, like you're saying, Zach. But against a team like PSG, you just can't be doing those things.
I do want to say too, like they started time wasting in like the 20th minute,
right away.
Like,
right
which I'm
away.
like, listen, like I'm all for gamesmanship, but that's just fucking ridiculous. Like at some point, get on your fucking 2 feet, stand up with some fucking pride, and play the game the way it's meant to be played. Time wasting from the 28th minute on is ridiculous.
Well, and what happened was too, it's like it shows the time wasting, but we still lacked the creativity. We lacked the offense to be able to like do that, because if you're going to do that, you got to be able to, when you have that possession, either counter right away or hold that possession, and then when you have it, still get one more out of the game. Like we got through the skin of our teeth, honestly, this season with the amount of 1-0 wins we had. But we're not going to be able to do the same thing next season. And hopefully at that point, Arteta can play with less of the handbrake on, because we've now won the league, so he can take more chances next year. But it's hard to even predict, because that dude is so pragmatic in his ways of just like, he has his plan, and then it's just like that. So
I will say,
yeah,
I do have a bone to pick with both your right wingers.
Both of our right wingers.
But for starters, Saka, Mr. Starboy himself, 4 passes completed to Arsenal, 4 passes completed to PSG. Like, that's just, you can't be doing that in a Champions League final. That's at the end of the day, like, and I feel like it's kind of going under the radar because of the penalty misses. But Saka was horrible. From the start to finish, Saka was horrible. And, that's when you need a player like him that's supposed to be your best attacker to step up. And he did not rise to the occasion whatsoever. That's more just like calling out performance. I think needs to be, I don't want to say singled out, but like he does need to be singled out, because he needs to be doing more if you want to win the Champions League. I understand part of that's probably down to the fact that he was expected to do more defensive work than attacking work in the final, the way things played out. And then the other one I have to pick a bone with is the former Chelsea player, Mr. Nani Madueke, Mr. King of the Road Man himself, or Mendem FC, whatever they called us when he was around. Because he fought for that penalty with Palmer again in that Everton game, but then when time to step up and rise to the occasion, take a penalty, he was nowhere to be found. So he can talk all this shit on social media about where he came from and all this stuff and why he left for Arsenal and everything. But at the end of the day, he should have been in that 5. If you're so confident on a penalty, you want to talk all this shit, you should be able to step up and take a goddamn PK. And he ran and hid like a fucking coward. And maybe he would have been next, but like the fact that a center back's going over you, and maybe it wasn't his decision, I don't know. But like the fact that he wasn't in that first 5 to me is just ridiculous. Like for all the talking that guy does and all the shit that he tries to stir, I'm so happy he just looks like a coward now. But that's more my beef with things. I for the most part, I do want to just have like a civilized conversation about the game. obviously I gotta make my little piss takes here and there, but overall, those were the two players I felt like I needed to call out for certain things.
We want to talk piss takes, dude. The dust didn't even settle on the fucking trophy, and the confetti wasn't even in the air. And I'm just like scrolling. I'm on Instagram, and I see your fucking post, like only team in London, and now it's still win Champions League. Ha 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 ha. That I was so just like.
He was two
So, like,
Trulies deep, and
The
it
thing
just
is,
sent him over the edge.
no, Truly's absolutely not. That was pure joy and happiness I was feeling when I made that post. There wasn't an ounce of rage bait in my mind. It was just pure joy and happiness. And
sure, yeah. Now tell me, it's been 5
I will
years.
say,
how long? 5, 6 years? 5 years since you last won that trophy, right?
Yeah, but we still got 2 of them, Johns. So you know what I mean? Like we're
5
chilling.
years since you last won it. I love fans that like to live in the past because you look 5 years in the past, however many years it was since that second one. If you look 5 years in the future, do you see that Champions League coming back to Chelsea? You look 10 years in the future and you see that Champions League coming back to Chelsea. I know one thing. I know one thing for that. You can't answer yes.
Arsenal supporters love to talk about the Invincible season, though, don't they?
They do.
Hey, no, you don't hear that from me. I don't talk too much about Invincibles, man. I don't like to go there about the past. But if you want to go there in the past, how many games was it?
I mean,
49 games, undefeated over 49 games. Yeah.
I mean, if we want to talk about the president, we can talk about the fact that Chelsea are still the world champions and beat PSG 3-0 in a final.
World champions, everybody. World champions.
Did I lie? Did I lie?
No,
am I missing something? They're the world champions. Yeah, and they beat PSG. They curb stomp PSG. Put belt to ass. So, I mean, we can talk about the president. Like, one team's just the English champions, others the world champions
right now,
so,
do we need to do the math on the minutes they played last season, even though it won't matter the fuck at all, but maybe they played more minutes going into that game than they played going into the Champions League final because they were able to rest in that Farmers League they play in France. I don't know, maybe.
That was going to be the point that I make.
Chelsea played a bunch of games too, so, I mean,
But I think the three of us can admit that the difference in the levels, even just by eye test, the difference in the levels between the Premier League and Ligue 1.
Oh, yeah, the time management from all their star players was ridiculous this season.
It's insane.
What was it, like 4,000 minutes less between like Vitinha
pretty
and
much
Declan Rice?
Like they didn't play like half their starters and half their league. Like I think Dembele had 20 League One appearances and like 1,300 total minutes. Yeah. Like it's so
do
like
you chalk that up to like ownership and the depth that PSG have compared to Arsenal, or just the levels in league?
I just think where they are right now, I just think that their focus is Champions League, and their focus has been Champions League for a while. Like I think if you
have
would
that
have told
luxury when you play against three other,
but that's my
right.
I mean, you have like 4 to 6 really difficult games in terms of like opponent of the season, and those difficult games I wouldn't even say are like overly difficult. Like, you know what I mean? So, like obviously, like it's kind of crazy how much time management they were able to do this season. But you can look at it from the opposite perspective and look at, not that I'm saying that this Chelsea team was going to win anything, because we clearly weren't good enough to win anything this season. But you can look at the difference in guys that were expected to play every game. It felt like Palmer was playing through injury, or we know, like it was known he was playing through it. How, if he still is, I don't know. But there was a point in the period where he was playing through injury and missed part of the season through injury. And these guys looked tired. To be honest, like they looked tired for the guys that kept playing, and then the guys like to delapse and just look terrible. But it's a luxury. It is a luxury for PSG, though, the fact that they can rest 9 starters going into a league game. They can rest 11 starters. They can rest 5. They can rest 6. Get themselves ready for the next game. And I really just think if you would have told them before the season started, you lose the league and you win another Champions League, I think they would have been okay with that deal. And obviously, they won both. I think they won the treble again, if I'm not mistaken. Which is just back-to-back trebles is ridiculous, even if it is Ligue 1. Or Ligue 1, however you want to pronounce it. But I just think I do think their focus at this point is just winning Champions League over and over again.
I mean, you got Enrique there, so he's trying to just stack, because he could become the most successful Champions League winner and manager of all time if he continues what he's doing right now.
And look, and the thing too with all 3 of his wins were all treble wins too, which is just absurd to think about. But no, Chelsea, we wanted Pochettino instead of him. Great decision, guys. Great
Oh yeah.
decision. But I'm not
Well,
saying we would have won Champions League by now or anything, because I don't think we would have. But it's
we,
just like, oh, wonderful. Like,
I mean, hey, you guys still made the great decision for Alonso because I mean, Liverpool made probably the stupidest decision in
I
not
can't
going
believe
for
it.
him
I
and
actually
going
can't believe it.
for sacking, Arne Slot after the fact. It's like you don't. I don't even know how to begin this like dissection of the process because like it's not like Alonso's going to Liverpool and like trying to say, hey guys, like we don't know anything of that behind the scenes stuff yet, but like, did he try to go to Liverpool for negotiations? Were they like? I just don't get it, man, because they're trying to bank on Iriola, but like you can't do the Chelsea approach of going for mid-table managers that are succeeding with smaller clubs and take them to a bigger club. Yeah, you just can't. It's proven in the Premier League at this point that you can't do it. Thomas Frank is another example. You can't do it. You just can't. You got to get one of these managers that are either world class or that are proven themselves in just another league or something like that, because Liverpool is just setting themselves up for a fucking disaster here, man. I don't know, like I
Like,
don't rate Areola that well. Like, if I'm being honest, like Bournemouth had a good season again, yeah, but like, I mean, you look at the players that they lost and like the slumps that they were in here and there. It's like Semenyo helped them at the start of last season, and then once he was gone, they were relying on God, what's his striker's name? Not Evan Nielsen, but this other kid that they had starting. Doing
Eli
well.
Krupi.
Kroupy. Yeah, Kroupy.
Yeah.
You were getting lucky with some of these guys that were having these purple patches, but I don't know, man. I
They just
do
lose
not know.
Senesi too.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
that Rand kid they brought in January just looks like a hell of a player right now too.
Hmm.
Made
So
the
like
squad, yeah.
yeah, so they lost Semenyo, but I'm not saying Rand's the same level as Semenyo, but they got something different in that I think. I mean, they went on an unbeaten run then the season. You know what I mean? Like
Right, right.
it's an interesting prospect because I do like Areola as a manager. Um, it's not what I wanted at Chelsea because I just don't think that's what we need right now. But I don't know how, like Liverpool have a lot of very good, talented players that maybe they underperformed, maybe they're just it wasn't working under Slot. Who knows what the real answer is going to be? But like anybody that job's a nightmare for any coach right now because you got Isak, you have Ekatike, you have Wirtz that like really don't fit all together. Like unless you play more of like a three back kind of formation, like a one striker set when you have
Miami
Ekatike
Heat
and Isak.
2013.
Yeah, like it's like you
Well,
got all this
Give it
talent.
time. You just give it time.
Like you got all this talent, and it could work. But he's got to he's trying to fit square pegs in the round holes right now.
Do you see the list of players that he wants in and out?
No,
No.
I did.
Did you guys see that? This is off the top of the noggin, so bear with me. But he's looking at Bradley Barcola, which has been talked about for quite a while. He's looking at Pacho from PSG. There's also one other name that slips my mind, but out. He's talking Isak, Gakpo, and I believe it was McAllister.
Yeah, I saw that like the writing on the wall for McAllister to leave. Like it's I guess the way he plays doesn't really suit his style. So it looks like McAllister's probably gonna get sacrificed. The Isak's one's interesting to me because I don't hate the idea of them getting rid of him, but like after 1 year and the amount of money they spent, I just don't see it happening. I think the board's gonna go to him and be like, we need you to try and figure this out. If it doesn't work, we'll look at moving him on. Um, and then like in terms of bringing people in, like if you're Pacho, why would you want to go to Liverpool right now?
Yeah, but they also have. I mean, they're getting rid of Kanate.
Yeah,
Leone's coming back after the knee injury, and that dude's this fucking stud.
they
Looks
got
like
Jaquette coming in too.
Jaquette coming in. Yeah. They have another like two or three kids I just seen that were like 16, 17 years old.
Yeah,
Center backs.
it's more just for Pacho. Like obviously the prospect going to Liverpool is great, but like why would he want to leave that PSG side right now?
Yeah.
Especially because there's rumors that Marquinhos is going to get moved on.
Yeah, he's getting up there in age, right? He's got to be like early
which
30s.
if I'm Chelsea, I'm getting all over that and bringing him in because
That would be a
Thiago
great
Silva
signing for you
2.0.
guys.
yeah.
Yeah,
Just granted,
yeah.
I don't know if at this point in his career he's gonna want to. He's gonna maybe wants to go to. He's probably gonna want to go to a Champions League side still. And he's not someone that's gonna play week in week out. He's gonna play as much as he. But with also the prospect of only having the league games, maybe that's something that he likes. That he's gonna be playing pretty much one game a week, bar like December and a couple of those weeks where they making up for international breaks and cup games. Maybe that's what he's looking for. But like, yeah, I know it's easy for us to look at him and be like, oh, look how great Thiago Silva was. Like, but I think for what our team needs in terms of experience, like I talked about it, I think before I said I would like Senesi and Stones just because one, they're cheap options, two, Premier League proven experience. I still would like John Stones to come in. I think that's he's got his injury problems and he wouldn't play week in week out. But I just think that's the type we're looking for that type of experienced defender to bring in. I think to partner Colwell going through like next season, or if we're playing a back three, Colwell and probably Hato from what the looks of it, everything. But yeah, we're missing that experience level center back that I think Marquinhos for our side would be perfect. I don't see it happening, but if I'm Chelsea, I'm getting Thiago Silva on the phone to get him on the phone and like, hey, let's see what we can do. But um, but back to Liverpool though, yeah, there's just a lot of chaos over there right now. Like obviously Van Dijk's getting up there in age too, and no Salah, no Robertson. You're losing some like veteran like senior figures in the dressing room. So it's gonna be interesting to see how under Areola they kind of bounce back or how they respond to like this season coming up.
It's interesting prospects here. Interesting prospects at Liverpool. That's really kind of the only other managerial like big move I would say, and like big kind of.
I still think Ali Glasner takes the job.
I don't know, man. I mean, like
I don't care what Fabrizio has to say.
you look at what he's been able to do though at Crystal Palace, and it's like
He's out.
you just let him stay. I mean,
He's
to
out.
be fair, like yes, he could leave because there's other things he can do now. But
Isn't
like,
he announced he's already leaving? Like, doesn't he want to leave Crystal Palace?
He's out. Yeah.
Oh,
he's
really?
out. Yeah.
Oh, damn. Well, he did have his like kind of battles with the board.
I mean, he also gave them the two best years of any Crystal Palace fan's life, realistically. So
yeah, there's the fans have no reason to be upset if he was to get out of there.
And I think most of them are pretty like they were understanding with like Eze too and Elise. So I can only imagine they're gonna just be like, you know what, like yeah, go. You deserve your chance to go move on. So
yeah. Well, a lot of moves this summer. It's going to be a new landscape, I would say, next season. A lot of big players, big managers. Pep's out too. Silva, Stones.
There's always the World Cup. There's always the World Cup kind of breakout star too that makes that big move.
Yeah, man. Yeah.
End of summer.
And so we're just a couple weeks away now. What is it? June 1st.
Less than.
I think it's
11 days, right?
It
starts on the 12th.
Maybe.
10 days it starts. U.S. first game in 11.
First World Cup game is Thursday, June 11th. Yep.
Mexico,
huge.
Australia, I think.
Crazy. Yep.
Or South Africa.
Mexico taking on
South Africa rematch from 2010.
Yeah. Yeah, man. Crazy stuff going here. So you know what I want to do real quick? I want to see what games are playing in Toronto and Toronto. World Cup.
It's
like
not
the Germany
feasible.
group.
Yeah, it's not feasible.
No.
I've looked.
6 World Cup temporarily named Toronto BMO Field. Canada versus Bosnia. Ghana versus Panama. Germany versus Ivory Coast. Panama
I tried
versus
so hard
Croatia.
to find tickets to that game.
Senegal versus Iraq in a round of 32 game. Well, hey man, I mean, some Panama versus Croatia, that wouldn't be too bad to watch. A little Luka Modric action. Yeah, damn, that would be a crazy one to get tickets to. Germany.
Yeah, I think I'm looking at the Germany Ivory Coast game still. I'm just kind of prepared to just blow my bank account up, but it is.
I'm gonna pull the day before.
Yeah.
If it creeps under 500, I'm sending it. I think.
I'm
pretty much at the point where I'm waiting until week of, and then once it's week of, I'm just gonna pull it. I'm gonna have games that I'm okay, I'm going to this game, just gonna see if prices drop at all, and I'm just gonna pull the trigger depending if it drops to a certain point. But
Yeah, it's you just gotta, right? Like
Yeah.
if it's not this year where you potentially go to a World Cup game, it's I don't know when in our like adulthood or feasibly young adulthood at least we would be able to go to one of these. Like what is it? It's what's the World Cup host venue for the next one?
It's
Isn't
like
it like
Morocco, Spain,
Spain,
Portugal, isn't it?
Morocco, and yeah, something like that. It's
Which
split between some
that's going
countries.
to be electric, by the way.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
some
And
World Cup games in Morocco,
yeah.
dude.
Yeah.
That's
I
gonna be
also
awesome.
if I'm not mistaken, too, I think it's the 100-year anniversary. So there's like a group that's starting in, I think it's like
Yeah,
Argentina and Uruguay before they go over
yeah.
to join the rest of them because for the 100th anniversary, which is just kind of ridiculous for those teams. Like it's gonna suck to be those teams, um, but it's gonna be cool as hell though that they're gonna be playing 3 different continents technically for the World Cup. Like that's just the fact that it's gonna be in 2 different continents already is unbelievable. I know
Yeah,
it's not really feasible for most but for the fact that they're doing that is unbelievable.
yeah, I love it. I'm definitely like if it's not this tournament, got to get to one at least at some point. And doing one for that would be crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah, man, that would be seriously insane.
So, Alec, I know we talked about it last week, but Brandon, what are your thoughts on the USA squad?
Hang on, I still don't know how to use the MacBook. I'm having technical issues. Here we go. Okay. I think it's a strong team. I really do. I still think there's a high possibility we get grouped. Um, I just think it's a lack of. I don't think the rah home soil can carry a team like this very
No,
far. I don't.
I don't.
I don't think they know how to like use that beneficially.
I don't think we have the rah home soil that we're good that people are
I think.
expecting us to
I think we're
have.
gonna be shocked at what shows up. I think still, obviously, soccer has a long way to go in the United States. I do think that just like everything in this world nowadays, the stupidest shit can become a fad. And I think we see a lot of that just to say that, I'm a soccer fan. Like, here I am at the World Cup. I think we see a lot of like fucking influencers and bullshit pulling up. I
That's
think we
we were
see
saying a lot of the same thing last
I
week. Yeah,
I think we see a lot of content out there from people that don't understand the game, but they're still showing
exactly.
up to say that they're a part of it.
Hmm.
I think we get I think we get a lot more support, and I think that showed up at Charlotte. Even if it is just a send off or whatever they Continental Cup, whatever they fucking called that.
Yeah.
But even Pulisic was quoted as saying, thank you, and that was incredible, and especially that first 30 specifically, first half in general. Um, I think on paper it's a very strong team, and I actually remember looking at because I was at work the other day watching it on Peacock, and I remember seeing the starting 11 and like audibly being like, "Damn, like that's actually not bad." I think there's gaps um, that needed to be filled. I think I'm most interested to see the Tillman Reyna, kind of who fills in that third starting spot. I think Berhalter, jokes aside, I think Berhalter is a quality player. I don't think he's the breakout star of the World Cup, but I think he's actually a very pivotal piece of the United States squad. Pulisic needs to show up. The just like any nation though, the big name players need to show up at a tournament like this. I think it's a very good sign that he did yesterday. Um, I guess the biggest question mark is really going to be that back three, and I know Tim Ream was just named the captain. Is that more so for his quality on the ball or his leadership in the locker room? I think that's going to be a big question mark. I personally think Tim Ream is a very good player. Um, that goes against the grain for a lot of people. I understand that. But you need some of that, right? Like he's Tim Ream is not Thiago Silva. Tim Ream is not Pepe. Tim Ream is not Sergio Ramos. But mentally, like there's gonna be a time where you need to control a game, the last 10 minutes. Um, and he's still got some juice in him too. But yeah, I think perfect world. I uh, I think we see the United States play 5 games in total. I think we get to the round of 16. Um, but circling back, I think there is that chance that we get grouped and we don't make it out, even with the three teams. Um,
Yeah.
I think we could be in for a shock, good or bad.
Yeah. So
Yep.
my biggest issue with the squad is just the fact that we brought Christian Roldan again. But apart from that, I really didn't
You
have
knew it was
my
going to
major.
happen,
I
though.
knew it was gonna happen, but it's just like I don't. If you bring him
It
like
doesn't
last
make
time,
sense.
where he's like, it doesn't make any sense.
It
If
doesn't
you
make
bring
sense.
him as the fifth guy, knowing he's not going to play like last World Cup, we brought him, didn't play a single minute, and now he's older and worse than he was 4 years ago as a player.
Yeah.
And we brought him, and not like a Tanner Tessman who had a pretty solid season in Europe.
Mm.
Like it just doesn't make any sense to me. But beyond that, and like talking about getting grouped, I've been having this conversation with people about it because people have just been asking me questions, and people that just don't understand the format yet, or or just question like talking about the format.
Yeah.
The magic number I think to get out of the group's probably going to be 4 points,
3 or 4. Yeah.
because I think three is going to be like the bottom teams they're going to get through on goal differential. But I think if you go 1 win, 1 draw, 1 loss, you're pretty much I think going to be guaranteed unless you get really like your shit pumped in the game you lose. Um, I mean, goal differential is definitely going to be important. I think, like in terms of like I don't know, in terms of like getting out, I think goal differential will matter. So if I'm just looking at it from our games, I think there's I don't think we win all three for sure. But I think we could win two. Like
Yeah.
I think the Australia game's a game we can win, and
Yeah.
I think we can. The Australia game's a game we should win. The other two games are neither a guaranteed win, but I wouldn't say either a guaranteed loss. Like Turkey's good, or Turkey A now, but like I just do think like the quality of Yildiz and Goulet and some of the other players in that squad are going to or will end up making us lose that game. And I think we get a draw at Paraguay, so I think we're going to get that 4 points that are required and make it through. As a I don't know
See,
if
but
it'll be
that's
a
the confusing part about a
yeah
team like this is like you have like an Anthony Robinson and a Serginho Dest and like a quality Chris Richards, and maybe you switch up. Maybe that's the game that Tim Ream doesn't play. And I
yeah
just see like someone like Arda Güler, and I've seen it so much at Real Madrid. We all have. Like I think he's in fucking Jedi's pocket. Like I can see it. Like Arda Güler has just he's just so it just gets boils over and it just becomes a laughing stock, and that's going to be the game where we shock the world and everyone's like,
yeah
oh, maybe they pulled the trigger too fast and then they go into the next round and we have all this hype and then we get disappointed.
yeah.
But that's the
Like
confusing part about a team like this.
like and it's weird because like I look at the three games we're playing. Nobody we're playing is like an overly strong team.
No.
You know what I mean? Like there is a genuine possibility we could go out there and win all three games. Will that happen? Absolutely not. But is there a realistic is there a universe where we go out there and we can beat all three of those teams?
Yeah.
In my opinion, yes. And maybe I'm
Yeah.
delusional, but I don't really think I am
Yeah.
because I think I usually downplay the United States national men's national
Yeah.
team pretty much as I can.
I'm gonna be real too. If they play like they did in the first 45 minutes yesterday against Senegal, I don't give a fuck what the 11 on each side was. I don't care. If they played like they just did in that first 45 minutes yesterday, they would put on a show against France, Spain, Germany. They would compete. They would
Yeah.
compete. I don't know what the
Like
final result is, but they will compete.
I that's the thing. Like I granted it's just a friendly. There's probably guys that aren't going 100% because they're not trying to get hurt before the tournament starts. But Senegal's a very good team. Like they're not. That's not a pushover game. Like I mean, there are people that might not understand that, but Senegal
Arguably
is
African
a
champions.
like they are the African champions at the end of the day. I don't care what bullshit like rigged like corrupt thing that happened with AFCON. Like they are the African champions in my mind. They will be they won that game. I understand what happened, raised some eyebrows and AFCON decided to step in. I don't like to do that just randomly when they did that. It just seems like something was wrong there, but they're based on results of what happened, they're the best team in Africa. So and that's not a slouch. Like they're a team a lot of people have been hyping up as a dark horse to go far in the tournament. Um, it's weird because it's like I think there's always teams that people are like, oh, this team can win. I don't think there's a lot of that where it's like, oh, they'll make a run, but they're not going to win. And I think they're one of a few people's like prime candidates to make a run in this tournament. So it'll definitely be interesting. Obviously their group, they're in a pretty tough group with France and Norway, so they're gonna and everybody's gonna in that group is kind of gonna beat up on Iraq. So it's gonna be interesting to see, but that's a good win going into the tournament for the United States. That's a win that should fill us with some confidence, regardless of who's on the pitch. Like I think Berhalter started. Berhalter's not going to be a starter come tournament time. Like it will be McKennie and Adams unless Pochettino loses his mind.
Yeah.
But it's that's a win that like they should look at and be like, that's a good win against a good team. We need to build off of this and see what we can do. We can keep going forwards. I think Senegal's a tougher team than anybody we're going to play in our group.
Yeah.
That's fair. That's a fair point.
So it'll, and I'm not saying that we're going to play the same way against Senegal as we will against them, but that's a good win going into the tournament.
Yeah.
Now, speaking of going in the tournament, do you think there's like too much noise now? Like, where is it artificial or is it genuine about Pochettino links with AC Milan? Like, do we really need? Is that something that we should be worrying about, or is it something that you think is like just starting to cause some?
How many coaches do you see spend their entire career with the international team?
Like none, but that's what I mean. Is it something where it's
I think it's an inevitable thing when a coach signs on. I don't want to compare it to like a presidency, but like they come in for their tenure, they put in their ideology, and we get them for the time being, and they're gone
until that offer comes. Yeah.
To be honest, I never really saw Pot staying beyond the World Cup.
No. I don't think anybody really did, right?
Like,
nobody saw it was just a long-term thing.
I think they offered him a good amount of money. He said, you know what, I'll go do that. I'll go coach at a World Cup, see what I can do with a lesser team, and then I'll go back to Europe after. So I don't really think this is like going to be a surprise if he leaves.
Yeah.
But
it would be an interesting link up at the club level with Pulisic, though. It would be.
Yeah.
It's very true, actually. Yeah, because he would still be working with Pulisic after about a year of, the camps that he had with him. So, yeah. Plus, it would be a new league for him. I don't think Poch has coached in Italy yet. And it's a league that definitely needs a bit of a shake-up in terms of coaching styles because they're doing the merry-go-round of their coaches right now for the Italian coaches, just jumping other teams and shit like that. What was the... Conte is leaving Napoli and he's going to go to possibly Juve, I think, or where does he go? Like, I don't exactly remember what he was linked with.
I didn't see the links, but I know Allegri's going to Napoli, which is just like
right.
That style has been like out of touch for years now.
Yeah.
And he's already getting another big job in Serie A, so
makes no sense. But yeah, I mean, if Poch was to go to AC Milan, it's huge for him because again, like that's another. I'm not going to say farmers league because like if you look at the rankings of the leagues, I mean, it's at least above the French league and probably breaks into that top 5. Interesting conversation to have here. So after we just wrapped, not to take us away from international ball, but like if looking back real quick, leagues just wrapped. We have our champions. We have our, shakeups of what went on. If you were to rank the, domestic, not domestic, but if you were to rank the top 5 international leagues in Europe right now, where would you place them? And how do you see that top 5 shaking out? Because, like, if I was just to say what I was saying there, like, you probably put the Serie A at number 5, Bundesliga. Or no. Serie A would be number 4 because then you get like Bundesliga. I don't know. Maybe I would throw that at. It's tough, man, because it's just Bayern running away with it always. But like,
I think the argument that can be made. I think the argument that can be made, and this is the German in me and the Bayern supporter in me.
Sure, yeah.
The one thing I would go to is how much young talent. The Prem is far and away number 1. right?
Yeah, got it.
Prem is far and away. How much young talent do you see come from the Bundesliga into the Prem compared to the other three making the move into the Prem?
Right. Yeah, not too many.
Every season, every transfer window, it's Bundesliga, 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 Bundesliga. Obviously, the big one with Florian Wirtz. You have Jamie Simons. I mean, the list just goes on and on. Akatike, even just last year. So I think the young talent alone too. Um, Obviously, it's stemming from all over the world, but consistently, the Bundesliga is just pumping out Prem level talent, and that alone, I would go Prem, Bundesliga, La Liga as my top three.
It's tough, yeah, because La Liga is a competitive league, and the talent, it's the same kind of deal, like you're saying. You get a lot of La Liga talent that comes to the Prem, and they kind of come from all teams over there, really, and can come and make an impact. But in terms of just like quality of play, though, is what I would say is where it's like just a bit of a dip off, because like some of these Spanish teams, like compared to the Bundesliga, it's like the Bundesliga has more of the tactical approach, and some of these games and teams that can be like you get your Alonso system thrown into Leverkusen that can carry them through you know multiple tournaments and stuff, whereas some of the La Liga teams, but it's tricky. Like, weren't some of the La Liga, didn't they make it further into some of these tournaments, like in like Europa League and Conference League, than some of the other leagues? So that's an interesting bit there too.
But that's also not an argument based on the league. That's based on the current style of play
Sure, yeah,
in the club and
Yeah.
stuff like
yeah,
that too. You can't kind of
I
compare that with the league.
I
Sure.
do think the style of play in, like, we're just focusing on Serie A a little bit here. I think the style of play in Serie A feels outdated. Like, it looks outdated when you're watching it. Their model of how the clubs are ran, like, there's not a lot of opportunity for young talents in Serie A at all. Like, a lot of them end up going elsewhere because it just seems like for whatever reason Serie A doesn't really focus on youth talents. Like, and Modric, 40 years old. I mean, still was playing good at Real Madrid, but like clear, like evident signs of slowing down last season. He goes to Serie A and looks like one of the best midfielders in the league again. Like, you know what I
exactly.
mean? So it's
You
just
got guys like McTominay and Hoyland able to go to Napoli, and they look like superstars. Like, not to discredit them, because McTominay did have a fucking banger season when he went there and became Player of the Year for a reason. Like, that
Guy
dude
looks
had a
like
great
Calvin
season.
Klein now too.
Insane glow up going into the
it's that Italian style, fellas. It's the
Yeah,
Italian
yeah.
style does something.
Oh yeah,
I guess so. Little gelato steez.
very true.
Yeah, I think it's evident too. I think it bleeds into the international system and kind of bringing it back towards the World Cup and international too. When's the last time Italy made a major tournament or
Dude,
made a run
very
in a
fucking
major
true.
tournament that they've been in?
Very true.
Yeah.
Oh,
So
it's
I
weird
think
because
it
like
all connects.
they won, like the Euros win just feels so random. Like,
Yeah.
It does.
it
No,
just feels so random, out of pocket. Like,
you look at how they won it too. That fucking blatant red card on Saka that wasn't called, and you want to talk about refs and rigging games and shit, man. That shit should have been called, and it was the most violent card that he could have fucking thrown, and he doesn't. And what was it, Bonucci or one of those guys, the defender? Oh man, that shit was violent, and to watch that live, and oh man, and then to see the reactions again too after the penalty shootout, and Saka is crazy. That oh, ridiculous final. That one was. I'm talking about bad finals this past weekend. Man, that was another one. Just rough shit.
Who do you guys think wins the World Cup?
I have a wild pick.
Give me your final matchup and then give me the pick.
I think Brazil makes it to the final. I'm thinking Brazil's taking it. And I don't know who they meet in the final. I don't know. But I do think this is Brazil's come up. They, you know how I always talk about you need a good defense to win it. You got, Gabriel and Marquinhos as your center backs, two fucking solid center backs. And then you got it's Ederson, right? Is the Brazilian goalkeeper. But
Probably Allison number one.
Allison, right? Allison is the other number one. Allison, don't know. Either way, you got two great keepers on your bench there. Yeah,
Standing
I
strong with your pick, I see.
yeah, no, but I'm that's what I'm saying. Like either Allison or Ederson. Like they're too solid. I would go Ederson personally, but like Allison, still he's great. And the Brazil attack, man. You got Vinny, Jean Pedro. You got guys that can
Joe
do it,
Pedro didn't get
man.
called up.
Well,
Wait, no, he
Yeah.
didn't. He didn't.
Well,
You're right. You're right.
Yeah.
Shit. No. Who was it? It was
stand strong with
what's
your
his
pick,
name?
brother.
Fucking Igor.
E-
Igor. Yeah, Igor Thiago. Still, yeah, I'm still strong with that pick. Brazil's got a team. They got a team, and I think that they can do something. Especially with I'm just going based off some fucking just crazy Neymar dark magic right now, dude.
Pure vibes.
The pure vibes of just seeing how many Brazilian like CRT TVs like barely able to load a black and white image of the team's announcement and Neymar's name as soon as it came up, and just like everyone running out of their bungalows like, holy fucking shit. Dude, Brazil has the magic right now that they can make a solid run. I'm going Brazil.
Zach, hit me.
Listen, I love a good storyline. All right, I do love a good storyline. I'm split between three teams right now. Um, Obviously, I'm gonna go with the two. I think everybody's got on their mind: France and Spain. Spain as a unit is just ridiculous with the standouts of Pedri and Yamal. Um, France, their attack is just ridiculous. I mean, Mbappe, Dembele, Olise, Doué, Cherki, Barcola, like Thuram, like it just goes on and
Turkey
on.
is French.
Yep,
Shit.
like on and on. Even like the midfield. I mean, knowing the shops, he's probably going to play Rabiot, but like if he was smart and played Zaire Emery and Chouameni, like that's just ridiculous. Saliba and Upamecano, ridiculous. Magnan, fantastic goalkeeper. Kunde and Teo, like not coming off their best. Or well, Teo's just in Saudi, and Kunde not coming off his best season, but still a hell of a defender. Like they got depth, they got everything you need. Like Spain, they got everything they need. But, and this is the big but, there's another man
I like him.
from another country coming off of potentially his best season of his career so far. And there's a man trying to, I mean, he's already in the history books, but he's trying to rewrite history and reopen a conversation that has been finished for almost 4 years now.
I feel like I know where you're going.
Coming off with potentially the best midfield in the tournament, with two back-to-back treble-winning Champions League winners running the base of that midfield. Give me Vamos Portugal to win the World Cup. Ronaldo gets his World Cup at the age of 41, and the GOAT conversation's reopened. It's not. It's still messy, as much as I hate to say it. But I'm backing the boys. Realistically, it's going to be France. And if I had to give a more serious answer, like gun to head, you have to pick the winner. I pick France. But going off of the storyline, the quality that Bruno Fernandes has played with this season, the two midfielders behind them, Nuno Mendes at left back, the center backs they got are solid. They just got talent all over. As long as they don't start Pedro Neto, they'll be okay. Give me Portugal to win it for Ronaldo and really cement himself in history. I want to see it. I don't know. I'm saying it. I don't know for sure. Obviously, you never know. Realistically, I do think it'll be France. I just think their quality is just too much for any team, given the three players that are going to be leading that line. But if I had to go off of what my heart tells me, Portugal do it.
All right.
If I go off my brain, it's France. If I go off my heart, it's Portugal.
All right. Brandon, what are you thinking?
Ich bin einer Fußballspieler.
Oh, get out of here. Get out of here.
Breakout player of the tournament's going to be Leonard
Ich
Carl.
liebe Deutschland.
Yeah.
Kai Havertz scoring another goal in a final.
Oh,
Leonard Carl is going to be the breakout player of the tournament. You want to talk about attack? You got Florian Wirtz, Musiala, Voltamata, Leonard Carl, Leroy Sané, Rudiger, Jonathan Tah in the back.
Schlotterbeck?
Nico Schlotterbeck. We got quite a few.
There's one more. Do we want to know one more that just scored in another cup final? that won this dummy a cup final. That
Yeah,
wants to-
Kai Havertz. Kai Havertz will be leading the line for sure. I think he just needs to get over his hangover pretty quick before he gets on that plane. Um, but yeah, they look fantastic. The kits look fantastic. The pre-match stuff looks unbelievable. I'm about to call Adidas myself.
Can
It
I can
just
I g-
unbelievable. Germany. I actually this morning before work, not yet. Let me have my German moment here. This morning before work, I had to rewatch the 7-1 highlights.
So good.
Yeah, Andre Schurrle, the
Oh,
fucking cave
talk
diver
about
or whatever he does now.
Yeah.
Iron
talk about
Man.
one of my all time like random favorite players.
Oh,
Andre
there you
Schiller,
go.
man.
Unbelievable.
I used to love him back in the day. So back in the day,
Unbelievable.
it was
What an odd
2013.
run at
Like,
Chelsea for like
Yeah.
just 2
dude,
years.
I was begging for whoever was the coach to play. Like, didn't matter which coach we had when he was there. I was begging for him to play over Willian at the time, begging for it. I used to love Andre Schiller so much.
I'm about to eat
Start over Willian? Are you
Spätzle.
kidding me?
I'm about to
Well, at
eat
that time, it was a
Spätzle
closer
and
debate than you think.
schnitzel for the next month and a half.
Can I be honest with you, Brandon? Germany's part of my hot take for the World Cup.
Hot
In the
take.
other direction?
You can say that.
Wow, yo, I think you should say that for the next episode because I want to hear more about that.
No, it's just a quick take. I mean, we'll do a full World Cup deep dive next week, but before the tournament starts. But my my hot take is that Germany get third in their group.
Whoa, who's their group?
I think Ecuador wins the group.
No.
The Cote d'Ivoire, Ivory Coast, second.
Shut up.
Germany gets through with 4
Shut
points.
Up.
What's
Germany
Curacao?
Curacao.
Jesus.
They're just cannon fodder for the rest to beat up on. Like I said, it's a hot take. I don't know if it's actually going to happen, but it's a hot take. I think Germany get third in the group. Actually,
flaming hot take.
Even if they don't get third, I still think Ecuador win that group. I think their defensive stability is going to be ridiculous. Caicedo going to be one of the players of the tournament with their run this summer.
Jabroni Caicedo, man.
You got Capier, Pacho in the back line. Like they're just so defensively sound. You should love them. They play a little bit of Haram ball themselves with Alec.
Yeah. You know how much of a fan I've been of the Haram ball that we play.
Exactly. Yeah.
Guys, I'm shouting them out real quick too. Football kits.
Oh yeah.
I see the kid on TikTok all the time, and he does that thing where he like lets the filter pick the player, the country, and then the club or whatever like that.
Oh yeah.
So I just did 3 myself. Buy 2, get the third 50% off. I got myself a I believe it was 2013-14 Bastian Schweinsteiger Bayern Munich kit.
That's sweet.
I got the 2014 German away Mesut Ozil kit.
Fire.
And I also got the brand new 25-26 German no name, just nice clean home kit. So we'll be rocking that. Football kits.
Hell yeah. All right. So you'll pop the link in the chat after. I'm down to check that out.
Yeah, let's do it.
Hell yeah. All right. Well, we could call it here next week. It'll be our last video before the Kit Cup starts. So we can come back next week, do some predictions or something. We
gotta get back after that short form, fellas.
Yeah, we do. Yeah. We definitely do. I gotta work on that. But we can get together next week, do some predictions ahead of the tournament, and then keep some updates as the tournament goes on. It'll be a good timing for the tournament next week to do some picks and do some more short form because that'll get some stuff of us out there before it starts. And then, dude, I still got no voice after Saturday, man. I was screaming at some of that shit. Hopefully it's back by the time we make it to next Monday. Until then, champions of England and, all that fun stuff. And that's about it.
And just remember, let it all work out.
Let it all work out.
Let it all work out.
Thanks for wearing the jerseys today, guys. Thank you.
Of course.
Thank y'all for watching. We'll see you next week. Peace.
Bow, 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 bow.
Yeah, I forgot.